Hello internet viewers and welcome. I am your host, the Anime Freak, and this is my friend Grayson from Fr3ak, and we just watched Spirited Away.
The witch Yubaba controls you by stealing your name. If you completely forget it, you'll never find your way home.
Your name belongs to me now.
Spirited Away is a very interesting movie, in my opinion. It's basically about a girl and her family who are moving to a new town, and they find this, I don't even know what to describe it really, in the woods. A tunnel, I guess, which takes them to the spirit world, where there's a bathhouse, there's a bunch of these booths, parents find some food, eat the food, turn to pigs. Okay.
And from there we have our jumping off point
yeah,
of a whole bunch of
there we have
stuff.
Essentially the point where everything gets really weird, which is kind of typical of Miyazaki films, where they're kind of surreal and out there, where everyone essentially is an animal. All of the residents are spirits, because it's the spirit world, and in this bathhouse they come to relax away from humans. Only problem is that our main character is a human, and she's the little girl of these two parents. She doesn't understand what's going on. She's helped by a boy. Do you remember the boy's name?
What was he?
Yeah.
He was the dragon.
The dragon boy, yes.
The dragon guy.
Let's call him Dragon Boy. We literally just watched this, and it's bad that we can't remember the names.
Yeah.
But he helps her out, tells her to get a job at the bathhouse, talking to the person named Yubaba. He actually tells her to avoid Yubaba, but that's not important.
And for the most part, the rest of the movie is just misadventures.
Yes, most of the movie is the adventures that they have in that bathhouse. It's specifically her working there, meeting the different fantastical creatures, trying to find out how she's going to free her and her parents essentially being in a slaughterhouse, waiting to be made into bacon. And this is sort of a weird sort of film for me, because I have to say I haven't watched many of Miyazaki's works. This is the first time I've ever watched Spirited Away, having literally just come from watching it 10 seconds ago. It's your second time. Do you have any comments on that?
Well, I think before I give any thoughts at all, I should say, while I am happy to be a guest, I guess, on your show, I am not at all an anime guy. The closest thing to anime at all that I have any history with is, and it's not even anime, is Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's not a Japanese show, it's an American show trying to somewhat emulate that style of Japanese animation, and I love that show to death. It's one of my favorite things ever. But Spirited Away, I watched it before, just because I've been told it's the greatest anime movie of all time, and I was like, okay, I'm not a fan of this kind of animation, and in general, usually not even animation. I don't have a bias against it. It's just not something I always go out for, search for in general. But I thought I'd watch it. Got to give every section of movies a chance at some point. And the first time I saw it, I didn't really like it. And my thoughts on it overall haven't really changed. A lot of the points that I had originally, again, haven't really changed very much. I took some notes, but off the top of my head, the biggest problem I have with it is probably the problem I would have had with, I feel like I might have with any other anime in general, is just a lot of it just kind of comes off as we're being weird now, just for weirdness' sake.
And that is something that, again, you haven't watched much anime. I have watched a lot of anime, but I haven't watched a lot of anime movies. A lot of things that a lot of anime likes to do is it's very stylized in the drawing style, and specifically Miyazaki is sort of known for his more visually spectacular fantasy things.
Yeah.
Ponyo, Spirited Away, all that sort of stuff.
Just not a note.
Exactly. And also My Neighbor Totoro. Lots of films with very interesting designs. And in this, it's specifically because they're all either spirits or they're animals. The animals are supposed to be people who became animals, and whether it be because the witch thought they were greedy or some sort of reason.
Well, they're just spirits, and that's how they were formed.
Most of them are spirits, but they are the different sort of looking ones. Like, they originally think that a water spirit is a stink spirit, and that is so this has this really interesting slurky, sludgy type design, and it's all lurched over. It's very interesting, I feel.
Okay.
But then there's the other things like the water spirits, which are these flying dragons. It's one of the reasons why I'm surprised that the boy that helped the main character, who later is named Shen, not actually her name, but is given that name by Yubaba.
Sin. You mean?
Sin.
Yeah.
Sorry, not Shen.
It was
Sen.
close enough.
Yeah, Sen. My apologies. The boy appears as essentially a dragon, so it's kind of weird how at the very end of the film, spoiler alert, he turns out to be a water spirit. I'm sort of finding it odd that they didn't already know this, considering he appears as a water spirit. But
Well,
you see what I mean?
well, did they have water spirits previously established? 'Cause
Yes.
if they did, I don't
the
remember
stink
that.
spirit, remember? They originally thought of that thing that came into the bath was a stink spirit, but it was actually
Oh,
a water spirit.
okay. All right. That's that's kind of clever.
And actually, the more I think about it, it makes sense that that particular water spirit would be called covered in sludge. It probably was a polluted water, a polluted river. So most likely the whole idea was...
they are around the bathhouse,
Exact-
the subway system, and that type of.
That wouldn't be surprising, exactly. Some sort of river where there's a lot of runoff, a lot of people just dump things in there. Maybe it's by a sewage drain. So that would make sense, actually.
So it's a very subtle environmental message, I guess.
Not
like,
necessarily environmental message, but
clean out your bathhouse, or they're gonna sneak
it's
up
not.
your
Well,
business.
it's not the bathhouse, but this was just sort of any sort of river, and it makes sense. It's not sort of a message, just sort of an interesting tie-in, and then there's a lot of those sorts of like little things where they're sort of. I noticed sort of hints along the way placed that it doesn't necessarily make it you need to see them to know what the film's talking about, but there's sort of like nice little touches like that, which I just noticed.
You mean with the animation style and the way the world is
with
set
the
up in
animation
general?
style, the story, there's a little bit with the story even, just these little touches. For example, early on in the film, the girl Sen is starting to forget her real name, which I don't remember. I know it starts with a J.
I don't remember.
I'm sorry, I'm bad with names when it's only a movie or if, like it's even one episode of a TV show. I'm very bad at that. If you see my shows, my episodes, most of the time,
they're scripted. And so
they're
you have
scripted,
the names in
exactly.
front
So
of you,
usually,
yeah.
usually with those episodes, I actually have to Google them. Like with C, I hadn't watched that particular show for about half a year, like 6 months since I actually aired it and recorded it and all that. So I actually had to look up all the names again. So later I knew them because they were all pretty basic, and I was watching the show as I was making the script. In this case, we're doing it unscripted, just trying it out. And so yeah, I don't know the names. My apologies. Not important. But so she starts to forget her name, and the boy that she's with gives her this little card that she was, I guess, given by her friends. You can sort of assume on the way out from moving, which has her name on it, and it's never mentioned again. She remembers her name for the rest of the film. It's just sort of a little touch that if you keep remembering, you're like, oh yeah, that's in it.
Well, what I liked about that card thing was that clearly she's trying very hard to hold on to her identity as a human.
Yeah.
So you can kind of, and it's one of the few things that the movie does, I think, in a really subtle way, is that it shows that she's probably constantly looking at the card like, oh, that's what my name is, and it's a way for me to hold on to my humanity. If I can say, commenting on like the quality overall of the movie and just thoughts, because I'm looking at it more of as a movie instead of how, and I don't mean to in any way insult fans of anime or anything like that.
Just to put it out there really quickly, the whole point of us having here, because he has not done a lot of anime I have, is I'm giving it, the whole point for this vlog is to try out, I'm giving it more of the anime perspective of anime, Japanese culture and all that. He's here for a movie perspective, a breakdown. Because Grayson, you're very good at, you watch a lot of movies, and you watch a lot of good and bad, and you're very good at breaking it down.
Thank you.
Actually, him and also my brother, who's off the screen, don't say anything, have a couple retrospectives on their YouTube channel, Fr3ak, which I would definitely suggest checking it out. I'll probably have a link in the description, where they go into and analyze different movies, specifically Transformers.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, currently just Transformers. I'll get to hopefully more of those later on.
Yeah,
but please feel free to analyze this movie.
As a movie, in general, I might have to reference this. But the first comment that I made about a lot of things is coming off as weird for weirdness' sake. I think that's just a thing in anime that I just sometimes have trouble getting over. And with weirdness for weirdness' sake, it's very clear that I'm not some sort of aficionado on this stuff. So if I get it wrong, then settle down. I just watch the movie. I don't watch like commentaries and stuff on this type of movie.
Yes, the name.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if Miyazaki designs all this stuff, but there's clearly a lot of imaginative creature designs and that type of stuff. If this is weird to say, it feels like there's a little too much at times. Like I feel like there's so much lore that's trying to be introduced all at once that it comes off to me as like it's way more focused on the lore instead of actually being about a story. And I commented on this as we were watching it rudely. I'm sorry, I kept talking while we were watching the movie. Is that by the end, like it's like the last spoilers. I'll give you a couple seconds if you want to watch it, whatever. In like the last 10 minutes, it's like the focus is saving the dragon, the water spirit, and you're like, what about the parents? Like, where are they? And it's just like and for most of the movie, it feels, at least to me, like they've just forgotten about the story of the movie in service of style and all this stuff. So it's a style over substance movie, which I'm not always the biggest fan of. Like, I'm not a fan of something like Moulin Rouge.
I'm not so sure.
And this is better than Moulin Rouge.
I'd have to disagree with you. I agree with Moulin Rouge, though. I have to disagree with you on this particular film. Okay.
Yeah, go on. Sorry.
Because it is most anime has a lot of style in it, because it's sort of the style in which they draw it, which is supposed to draw a lot of attention. It's through that style that you get a lot of the development, both of characters and the world. And really, a lot of, depending on where you're coming from, a lot of films and TV shows for anime, it's the story of the world. And you have the main plot that's moving along. Okay. But like with this film, what it felt more like to me is it's the story of the world, and she's just a part of it. And specifically in this case, it felt like that last bit you were talking about, it feels to me at least more like, yes, she has to save her parents, but she also has to save this boy that she met that saved her, and she really loves. They describe it as essentially, which I have to agree with you, that comes out of nowhere. That comes out of nowhere.
Not only does it come out of nowhere, it is not developed.
Yeah, I don't understand that. I understand if it was a really good friendship. I don't understand that the true love bit. I feel like that's thrown in.
That's like Harry and Ginny stuff right there.
But I do have to say, it makes sense to me that she would do that. The whole idea is the little girl, who's the main character, I feel is a very good character. She starts out, the entire time she feels like a little girl. Like, she seems like this is a person you can believe she is a little girl, like a little 10-year-old girl.
And I got that when we were saying, while we were watching the movie, interactions with her and her parents. At least when they're dealing with humans, or you have some sort of reference point of how they're going to act, I think the movie does a really excellent job of that. Like, so with something like Ponyo, where it's dealing much more with like humans just being humans, I'm actually kind of interested in maybe seeing how that would work, because he clearly has a very good grasp of how people
that might be an interesting
interact with
too.
each other.
But it's a very good. She's a very good main character, and I feel she grows a lot. Like, you can see it when she first talks to the witch Yubaba. She's shivering, she's shaking, she can barely get out her words, and when she has to get out words, she has to be yelling. Like, the entire time she's yelling. But I don't feel like it's an acting thing where just you're like, shut up. It's more of because it's a character choice. It's the choice of she should be yelling because she's afraid, because she's scared and she's nervous, so she has to be yelling. So she does it when she has to, but then later on in the film, I also feel like she doesn't necessarily do it as much because she's more confident, she's more collected, and is stronger, really, because of her experience.
There are those moments when she's, again, so we've said spoilers enough at this point. Just assume that the rest of the video
This is a vlog with spoilers. End of story.
When she's just saying, like, no face, I'm not going to take that from you. And she's, like, running away, and she does that thing when she's at the stairs, and, like, she has that clever thing of so he'll hurt himself so she can run away. Like, she's thinking, and you can see her as the movie goes on, and, like, analyzing the situation that she's in and reacting to that war. And I think that actually is, her character in general is, for me at least, by far the best thing about the movie.
Yeah, she's a very good character.
She's the most engaging thing
about
the movie.
Like we were talking about, specifically the no-name monster, that's a very interesting character too. The one thing I had to comment on that is, so they knew it was a monster. Why did they let it stay on the bridge?
I don't know.
Like,
because weird.
That is the one thing I have to comment. That thing, Sen lets the monster into the bathhouse. Because she sees outside, she saw her on the bridge, assumes it's a guest, like, hey, you're gonna catch a cold. Very nice person. Sen is a very nice character, and that's why most of the characters make friends with her. Sen becomes her friend. This girl she works with is her friend. The person at the bottom of the bathhouse who makes all the water, steam, I guess.
That was one of the best designs of the movie, by the way. That was a cool design.
He was a very good design with all the different arms. That's a very nice design and very well thought out.
Looks like
and I like the relation that him and Sen make. Very good relation between those characters. And what I was saying was sort of she becomes friendly with them. So the no-name monster becomes friendly with Sen and tries to offer her things. He offers her a bath token. Gold. But first a bath token because she needs it for the baths.
Yeah.
But this is sort of like the no-name monster is sort of like a child in that he doesn't really understand what she needs when, so he just gives her stuff. So she needs a bath token, he gives her a bucket full of them. Which ends up being very useful for her when the snake monster comes in. But he doesn't realize that. He just is thinking, oh, she likes bath tokens. I'll give her a whole bunch. And then it's like, oh, everybody's taking the gold. Everybody must really like gold. I'm sure she'll like it. It's like a little kid giving gifts to another little kid. It's like, everybody likes these things. I'm going to give you these things. And I like that, actually.
Because they establish later it's a very lonely character.
Yeah, that's true. And they do establish, but most character traits they establish in, like, the main few characters, they're very good about establishing those things.
I mean, basic character traits, like you could say, like, a couple tiny things about them, but, like, overall, at times, there will just be... I have trouble following some of the characters, like Ubaba, her relationship with a lot of the other people in the movie. There are just moments, like there are also just times when I have trouble really understanding what characters' motivations are. Like, one line will be said, and we're like just supposed to hold on to that dearly, like it's a major thing, as it becomes some semblance of kind of a subplot as the movie goes on, and I don't feel the weight of it. Like when the water spirit dragon guy, I can't remember his name, when he's doing stuff, like when it's like, oh, he stole the token, like they mentioned that like one time mention it one time very early on in the movie. I'm just thinking, oh, okay, like this just comes in now. Now I guess I'm supposed to care.
You mean the seal?
Yeah, it's mentioned like one time earlier on in the movie.
No, I know what you're talking about. Later on, it was really later on in the movie. Hakuba, I just remember his name, Hakuba. Hakuba steals this golden seal from Ubaba's sister. I don't remember her name. I'm not gonna remember.
Twin sister.
Yeah, twin sister.
Came out of nowhere because weird.
It came out of nowhere, but you know what?
Because weird.
No,
so
it came out of nowhere, but it wasn't like last 10 minutes, so I'm okay with it. Things can come out of nowhere.
It was like last 30 minutes, so it's okay now.
But so, he steals his golden seal because he's under the influence of Ubaba, and it's charmed. That sort of leads into her saving, going and seeing the twin sister to save Hakuba. And it's interesting because she was given a gift by this river spirit, and the gift is medicine. She uses the medicine, but it seems more like throw-up medicine. So she gives the medicine to Hakuba. He throws up the gold seal, and that makes it he's no longer cursed. Or no, true love makes he's no longer cursed, but that makes it he throws up the golden seal, and he throws up this slug that's controlling him. Does it sound weird to you? It sounds weird to me. I get the feeling it sounds weird to you.
You're talking about the thing that she's always trying to be like, here, eat this, it'll turn you back to normal. Is that the thing that you mean? Wait,
the little thing that she bit into and then threw up.
That thing. Okay.
And the whole idea was it's throw-up medicine. So she gives it to Hakuba, he throws up the gold seal. She then gives another half to No Name, who literally has eaten everything in his sight. A frog, some people, a bunch of food, and has become massive. And there seems to be a reoccurring theme of greed in this movie. With the parents, with Ubaba, the No Name. A lot of the characters go through this greed cycle. And what's shown is the characters that are greedy have an ill fate go towards them. None of it's permanent, but it's an ill fate nonetheless. So her parents, they're greedy with the food, they turn into pigs. No Name, greedy, continuously eats everything, and ends up having to throw it all up, and goes through this torturous cycle, and ends up alone again. Ubaba, very greedy with gold and gems and money, and ends up losing in the end. She was going to keep Sen, and her parents, who are now pigs, she loses because she's so greedy, and she can't see past the fact that the last thing in the movie is she tries to give Sen a test, where it's, okay, you can go, I'll let you go with your parents, but here are a row of pigs, pick out your parents from that row of pigs, and all the pigs are the exact same. But Sen has seen which ones are her parents. She knows what they look like, and
when did she find that
Hakuba,
out?
Remember?
No, but like
he didn't.
He never said like, "Hey, here's a magic marker. Here's like
draw
a line on."
I get it. The whole idea is, if a little kid, yes, and little kids don't always have the biggest attention span, but this is her mom and dad. People have a hard time remembering every feature of a person when they're not looking at them. Once they're out of your sight, you have a general remembrance of what they looked like, but it's always altered a little bit. The whole idea about Sen is she remembers what her parents look like, and these pigs are her parents. So she's going to, if not remember what they look like, there's sort of an emotional attachment throughout this film that's emphasized, of love, of caring and compassion, that Sen feels towards people, not just her parents, just everybody. And because of that, she's able to recognize, these aren't my parents, these are just pigs. And it's that sort of emotional attachment that I really like this film. I feel it's very entertaining, it's got a lot of good elements. Mm-hmm. And we're running out of time, so we just gotta wrap it up, unfortunately. But just, overall, I like it a lot. It's Miyazaki, it's classic. I don't need to tell you that you really should watch it from an anime perspective. It's got a lot of beautiful, beautiful artwork, like really amazing. Again, Miyazaki. Great characters, and weird story, but it's fun. It's very fun.
For me, this is very much a style over substance. You were able to get a lot more out of this than I was, like, in terms of character. And that I found a lot of the characters in this movie very not exactly very hard to follow, just a little. Like, I definitely think you could have put a little more emphasis on some of them. And style, when it's a style over substance movie, and the style is something that I really just am not accustomed to, and really I'm just not interested in following more in general. I'm left with almost nothing, and what I hold on to is the fact that the animation does look good, and that it's well made. I can't fault it for that. The arc for the girl is good. It very good. It's very well done, but overall I just didn't find it particularly engaging. I was kind of bored through the second half of the movie, especially. So overall, it's probably controversial because even people that aren't fans of anime really love this movie a lot. I'm probably going to give it a low 5, like a pretty low 5 out of 10. I mean, it's not awful at all. I just really don't at all see what the excitement is about. So yeah.
Unfortunately, we don't have more time. Otherwise, we'd dig into it a lot more. Thank you for watching. If you like this video and would like to see more, please hit the subscribe button or the up like button. If you didn't like this video, hit the down like button and comment with the problems. I'd be love to get back to you on that. If you'd like to see more vlogs like this, please make sure to mention so. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you for watching this video and watching this movie and making this video with me, Grayson. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
Please feel free to watch videos over at Fr3ak. That's F-R-E-E-R-A-N-T-Z.
Yep.
I can spell. Thanks for watching and have a nice night. Again, I'm Anna Freak. Take care.
Bye.